Scene 1. Exterior. Street. Night. Close up on an A1 fly poster that loudly proclaims, "At Glitterballs, Earth Vibe plus support. Friday the 7th of December. Doors open 8:30. Price £5. The camera pulls back and pans sideways towards the wall. We see the poster is one of about 15 that are plastered all along the wall to where Tom and Dave are slapping up another. They are lit by a street lamp. Dave is holding a bucket of wallpaper paste and a roll of fly posters while Tom is placing another poster into position. Dave. "Come on, Tom, we're tempting fate. There's bound to be a copper along soon." Tom. "Don't be daft, Dave. Where do you think we are, Dock Green? These days you've got more chance of seeing a UFO than you have a beat copper, and tonight that's fine by me." Dave. "Yeah, I know. I'd rather see a UFO any day. At least E.T. wouldn't nick us a fly posting." Tom. "Yeah, but then again, he might take you up into his spaceship, mightn't he? So him and his mates could conduct horrible experiments on you. They'd implant things in you, wouldn't they? Poke about in your mouth and insert strange devices up your arse. Actually, it's not unlike getting arrested, is it?" "Well, I have to take your word for that, mate. Anyway, what about Big Tony and his fly posting mafia? If he catches us going over his posters like this, then he's going to be implanting things up our backsides, isn't he? Starting with this roll of posters." Tom. "Oh, don't worry about Big Tony, Dave. The worst thing he's going to do is go over our posters with a fresh load of his own. And anyway, I've cased his patrol. He only comes round this way on Saturday and Thursday nights. Probably fits his drug-pushing schedule." Then, from behind, we hear Big Tony's voice. Tom and Dave's faces fill with fear as he speaks. Big Tony out of view. "Oh, it does. But then every now and again I like to change my pattern so as I catch little wankers like you two messing up all my hard work." Tom and Dave turn around to see Big Tony and two thugs standing behind them. Tom and Dave give a simultaneous whimper of fear. Tom. "Oh, Big Tony, funny, I've been trying to get in touch with you. I need some professional help with my fly posting." Big Tony. "Oh, do you now? Well, I'd be delighted to give you some." Tom smiles, relieved. Then Big Tony takes the roll of posters from Dave's hand. Big Tony continued. "We can start with these. I know just the place I want to stick 'em." Big Tony makes a menacing gesture with the posters and smiles. Tom and Dave look at each other in mute horror, dissolve as Big Tony advances, then fade up on Big Tony and two thugs laughing. Big Tony. I nearly forgot. My card." He reaches into his coat. "Now you're going to have no trouble finding me next time you need to advertise round here." Close up on Big Tony's fingers, placing his card in between Tom's teeth. Tom makes a noise of acknowledgement as the camera pulls back slowly to reveal two human forms fly-posted against the wall with only their mouths left uncovered. Big Tony and two thugs laugh as they exit. Big Tony. "I look forward to doing business with you again, lads. Ta-da!" A pause as Big Tony and the thugs' laughter fades. Then Tom spits out card. "You know, there's never a policeman round when you need one these days, is there?" Glitterballs, a situation comedy written for television but performed for podcast by Mike Bennett. Episode 6, The Last Tango in Dinglebury. Roll opening credits. Scene 2, interior, Max and Doreen's office, day. Doreen is talking on the telephone, Max is reading the Daily Mail. Doreen. 6 boxes of cheese and onion and 6 of salt and vinegar. That's it. Thank you. And you. Bye. Max. Have you seen this? Doreen. What's that, dear? Max. This lot. Earth Vibe. They're like some filthy band of gypsies going around the country, luring respectable young people away into a life of drugs, depravity and soaplessness. Doreen. Earth Vibe? Max. Yes. It says here that the CID have been following him around the country for months now, monitoring their activities. Anarchists, you know. Drug peddlers, all hair and nose rings. Filthy beggars. Sort of riff-raff you'd expect Tom to run off with given half the chance. Doreen. Max, Tom wouldn't run off with people like that. He couldn't have booked them in here if he was off on the road with them, could he? Max. Well, we can dream, can't we? Lowers paper. Wait, what did you say? Doreen. He couldn't have booked them in here if he was on the road with them. Or could he? I suppose he could have phoned us out from a call box. Max. Here? This 10-legged stink machine in my ballroom? My God, he's really lost touch with reality if he thinks I'll let this fly-blown shambles cross my threshold. What was he thinking of? When does he think this is going ahead? Doreen, looking in her desk diary. It's the 7th of December. That reminds me, Max. Max. Jesus Christ! It's not as if there's only a few of them. Oh no, they travel in a horde, a convoy, hundreds of them, and that's not including their kids and their mangy string-tethered dogs. Add to that all the fans that are going to be following them around. Oh dear God, we'd have to close for 6 months afterwards in order to adequately fumigate the place. Doreen. Max. Max. And do you suppose their children are properly toilet-trained? Doreen, loudly. Max! Max reacts. There's a note here I made yesterday but forgot to tell you about. Phone a Mr. Harry Vaughan about a possible hall hire on that same date, the 7th. Max. Possible? Oh, he's got it. I don't care if he's holding a banquet for the Legalized Cannibalism Society and my private parts are being dished up as the hors d'oeuvres. He's got it. Then, hang on, did you say Harry Vaughan? Doreen. Yes. Do you know him? Max. No, not personally, but I know of him. Harry Vaughan is the ballroom dancing promoter in this area. It's his success that encouraged me to buy this place. Max reaches to Doreen for the diary. She hands it to him. As she speaks, he picks up the telephone. Doreen. Oh, him, yes, I remember. So it's his fault, is it? Well, if he's that successful with ballrooms, he can have ours. Forget the hire, let's just sell it to him. Max, dialing. Don't be silly, Doreen. Hello, Mr. Vaughan? Max Price here. Glitterballs. Yes. Oh, really? How tragic. Yes. Oh, why, of course. We'd be honoured. No, nothing else booked in for that date at all, no. My wife and I used to dance in competition ourselves, actually. Really? Oh, that's awfully good of you. Fee? Oh, Mr. Vaughan, I hardly think we need concern ourselves with fees. Yes, marvellous. Well, I look forward to seeing you then. Yes, all right, goodbye. Goodbye. Doreen. We hardly need concern ourselves with fees. I'm not quite sure I understand, Max. Max. Well, it's ballroom, darling. Ballroom. Christ, the man comes bringing us a pot of gold and jewels, and you'd have me pick his pockets for small change? Doreen. Since when is ballroom in the same category as gold and jewels? Max. Since Spangle's nightclub in Cheering caught fire at the weekend. That's when. Spangle's was where he'd been holding his ballroom dancing events. Now he's got nowhere to host his annual Cheering and District Ballroom Dancing Championship except here. Ha ha! Doreen. Well, all the more reason to charge him for it. Max. You don't understand, darling. Not only do we stand to inherit Mr. Vaughan's ballroom dance trade on a regular basis, but as hosts of the competition, we get to enter it on an honorary basis. Doreen. What about your bunion? Max. To hell with my bunion. I'll wear sensible shoes. The main thing is, we finally get the kind of trade we got into this business for in the first place. We can say goodbye to Tom and Dung Vibe and all the rest of it. We'll have the rumba, the samba, the tango. Doreen. Well, I suppose so. But what about Tom? You can't just kick him out. His promotions have put a lot of money into our tills. Max. I don't deny that, Doreen, but he's starting to book in the wrong kind of act. This latest lot are more likely to turn up on Crime Watch than on Top of the Pops. Don't worry, when he comes in I'll have a little chat with him. Scene 3. Interior, upstairs hallway, day. Same day, later. We can hear the weary footsteps of Tom and Dave coming up the stairs before they enter. They are still wearing the clothes they were wearing in Scene 1. From head to toe, they also wear strips and scraps of the posters they were putting up. They trudge to Tom's office. Just as they open it, Max steps out of his office into the hall. Max. Ah, Tom, Dave, I thought I had... Oh, what on earth's happened to you? Tom. We've been helping the police with their inquiries. Dave. Overnight. Max. I see. What inquiries might they have been, then? Tom. Well, we got into a bit of a mess fly posting last night. The police sort of rescued us, but they wanted to know how we came to be in such a predicament, and so they took us down the station. Max. Well, I'm not surprised. You know you're supposed to stick the posters onto the wall and not each other. Tom slaps his forehead. Oh, that'll be where we've been going wrong then, Dave. Damn. Thanks, Max. Tom and Dave go to enter office. Max stays them. Max. Hold on a moment, lads. Much as I'd love to wring the truth out of you about how you came to look like a pair of roving waste paper baskets, there's something I need to tell you. Tom and Dave look at Max, tired and blank. Max continued. It's about this Earth Vibe gig of yours. Tom. Earth Vibe? Brilliant. Sell out, Max. If I make money, we all make money, yeah? Max. Yes, of course. But nevertheless, I'm afraid they're going to have to go. Tom. Eh? Max. Seems there's been a bit of a double booking. I've a ballroom dancing event on that evening. It's very important, I'm afraid. Earth Vibe will have to go. Sorry, it's all been arranged. Max turns to go. Tom. What? Max, what do you mean double booking? That date was clear. Max. Oh, an oversight on our part. We forgot to tell you about it. Again, sorry, but I'm afraid it's ta-ta Earth Vibe. Tom. But you can't do that. I've contracted them. I've sold tickets. I've spent the night in Nick with their logo plastered all over my face. You can't just pull it on me. Max, suddenly annoyed. Oh, can't I? You really thought you'd pulled the wool over my eyes with this one, didn't you, Tom? But oh no, I've read all about this Earth Vibe rubbish in the newspapers. And if you think that I can't ensure that the enemies of the crown are unable to enter my establishment, that I have to just sit by while you let a known criminal element peddle their mind-altering chemicals to the children of Dinglebury, and to then ensnare them with their anarchic ramblings before leading them away from their families like a gang of insidious mud-caked Pied Pipers, well, I'm afraid you're very mistaken there, my lad. This is Glitterballs, a respectable establishment, and one that's going to stay that way from now on. With the exception of the 7th, you can keep the gigs that you've already booked. But that is it. I'll thank you to book no further acts into this venue. Now, if you'll excuse me, I think we both have better things to be doing. Max turns and exits into his office. He slams the door. Tom and Dave stand in silence. Scene 4. Interior, pub, day. It's a few days later. Tom and Dave are sitting at a table with Pete and Reggie. All are downcast, except Reggie. Pete, in a monotone, staring off camera. I don't believe it. I won't believe it. It can't be over. Damn it, we've only just begun. The others slowly look up. Why, we've only been afforded a glimpse of the treasures that lie ahead of us. Oh, darling, say it isn't so. I beg of you. Now that I've tasted your kiss, I know that my life would be unbearable without it. Without you. The others follow Pete's gaze to the pub TV where a subtitled movie is playing with the sound turned down. Without your smile. without your soft yet firm. Tom shouts to barman. Derek, can you change the channel, please, mate? I think there's a match on the other side. Derek waves and points the remote control to the TV. The channel changes to a football match. Pete. It was just getting good. Reggie. Is that all you're worried about, Pete? We're all sitting here on the brink of disaster, and all you can think about is what happens to some foreign bird's soft yet firm parts. Pete. Well, no, I just got distracted. Dave. Well, it's a good job we changed the channel then, innit? If you'd have gotten any more distracted, you'd have had both hands in your pockets whipping your small change up into a frenzy. Tom. Yeah, all right, lads. Listen, I've got an idea. Dave. What's that then? Tom. Well, the way I see it, this whole thing comes down to respectability, doesn't it? I've had to get rid of Earth Vibe because the media portrays him, and therefore Max perceives him, as a menace to society. The others nod. Tom continued. This whole drugs thing is doing my head in. Not one drugs-related incident in all the time we've been operating at Glitterballs, but still, Max thinks that rock and roll is Cockney rhyming slang for Chinese opium den. Pete looks puzzled. Dave. So? Tom. So, if, for Max, drugs equals depravity, then we have to fix it so that this ballroom promoter is seriously depraved. Pete. What, so we kidnap him and turn him into an heroin addict, like they did in that Gene Hackman film? Tom, puzzled. No. Dave. What Gene Hackman film is that then, Pete? Pete. A Poseidon Adventure. Oh no, hang on, that was on a boat, wasn't it? Reggie. Crimson Tide. That was a submarine. I never saw it, but I heard it was good. Dave. It's not about heroin though, is it, Reg? Reggie. I don't know, I haven't seen it. Pete. Oh, I got it. It's on the tip of my tongue. Dr. Octopus. Dave. What? That's not even a film, Pete. Tom. Oh, for funk's sake. It was French Connection 2, all right? Now can we get back to what... Reggie. No, that was Steve McQueen in that one, mate. Dave. No, it wasn't. Reggie. 10 quid says it was. Tom. Loudly. Look, we plant drugs on him, OK? We set him up. Everyone in the pub stops talking. Music and TV sound effects stop, and all heads turn towards Tom. Tom. Is what Steve McQueen said to Gene Hackman in that film. The other pub customers return to the low buzz of their conversation, and normal pub sound effects return. Pete. What film was that, Tom? Tom gulps down the last of his pint and puts the glass down in exasperation. Tom. My arse, Pete. Listen, I'm off. I've got business to take care of. He leaves. The others watch him go, then... Pete, puzzled. My arse? Oh, never heard of that one. Dave. That's a classic, Pete. Ask for it next time you go down a video shop. Pete. Yeah, I will. Steve McQueen and Gene Hackman in my arse. I should write it down. Dave. You do that, Pete. Anyway, whose round is it? Dissolve to notice. Saturday, the 7th of December. Then to Scene 5. Scene 5. Interior, ballroom, evening. The bar staff and doorman are all wearing smart, formal attire. As Gary and Sally go about lighting candles on tables, Max and Doreen are talking to Mr. Vaughan, a man in his 50s, very smart, perfect grey hair, combed back from his forehead, strong white teeth, rings on his fingers, etc., etc. On stage, an immaculate-looking DJ is setting up his gear. Everything is orderly and tasteful, a marked contrast to the setting of a rock event. Max and Doreen are both dressed very smartly in evening wear, Max in a tuxedo. Max even sports a new wig. They are laughing with Vaughan, standing at the bar. Vaughan. Really, Max? May I call you Max? Max. Oh, please do, Mr. Vaughan. Vaughan. Harry. Max. Harry. Vaughan. As I was saying, Max, this place of yours really is a smashing little venue. Awful shame you've had no luck in promoting ballroom events here. Max. Well, Harry, I think you've pretty much cornered the ballroom dancing market in this area over at Spangles. Vaughan.
Well, my association with Spangles was based on two things, Max. One, that having never seen this place, I thought it was the best venue around. And two, having never done business with you, I thought it was the cheapest.
Max laughs falsely. Vaughan continued.
Now I know otherwise, eh?
They laugh, Max and Doreen, falsely. George comes over and whispers in Max's ear. As he listens, Max's expression changes to one of annoyance, but he resumes a cheerful demeanour as he turns back to Vaughan. Max.
Would you excuse me a moment, Harry? I'm needed elsewhere. Doreen, would you get Harry another drink?
Max goes to the foyer with George. Doreen.
Another scotch, Harry?
Vaughan.
No, not just yet, thank you, Doreen. I've still got a few bits and pieces to attend to. Need to keep a clear head, you know. Will you be dancing this evening?
Doreen. Yes, providing Max doesn't succumb to the tyranny of his bunion. Max, out of view, loudly.
Oh, for heaven's sake!
Doreen. Or his blood pressure. Gary, a large Tia Maria, please. She smiles at Vaughan. Scene 6, interior, foyer, evening. Max, George and Virgil stand in front of the doors, looking out at a large gathering of hippie-esque youths. One has a dog on a string leash. George.
I reckon they're here to see some band called Earth Vibe, Mr. Price. We tried telling them there ain't a band on tonight, but they're not having none of it. Do you want us to go out and bang a few heads together?
Max. I couldn't let you do that, George. Just touching one of those heads would constitute a major health hazard. He opens the door and addresses the crowd.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Earth Vibe concert was cancelled some time ago. The band are not here tonight, nor will they ever be.
Hippie 1.
Yeah, well, we follow the Vibe, right? And their newsletter says they are here.
The crowd ad-lib cries of agreement. Max.
Oh, really? Well, if you don't believe me, perhaps you'll believe the evidence of your own senses.
He beckons Hippie 1.
Here!
He ushers Hippie 1 inside, leads him through the foyer, and puts his head inside the ballroom door.
There you are. Now, take a good long sniff.
Hippie 1 sniffs.
There, now do you believe me? They're not here, are they? So, clear off.
He pushes Hippie 1 outside again and addresses the crowd.
If you lot persist in hanging around, then you leave me no choice other than to call the police.
Max closes the door. The crowd boo. Max. Give 'em 10 minutes, George. If they're not gone by then, phone the police, the kennels, and the fire brigade. George.
The fire brigade?
Max.
Yes, we're going to need someone to hose down the entrance area.
Scene 7, exterior. Outside Glitterballs, night. It is a while later. The majority of the hippies have dispersed, though some still linger. Tom and Dave are chatting with some of them. Smartly dressed ballroom dancers are now entering via the main front doors. A car pulls up and Big Tony gets out. Tom and Dave go over to him. All three are cagey. Tom. All right, Tony. Tony.
All right, lads. No hard feelings about the other night, I hope. Purely business, you understand.
Tom. Yeah, no problem, Tony. What about tonight's business? Any luck? Tony.
Natch, geezer. Natch.
He covertly reaches into his pocket and removes something, which he slips into Tom's hand.
Sorted.
Tom. Cheers, man. He puts Tony's tiny offering into his pocket and removes a £20 note, which he covertly passes to Tony, who pockets it. As agreed. Tony.
Nice one.
There is a brief, awkward silence. Tom. Well, you off then? Tony.
Nah.
Nods in direction of hippies still hanging around near the doors.
Business, know what I mean?
Tom. Ah, yeah, natch. They part company. As they do so, we see a VW camper van pull up and 4 hippies, 2 male, 2 female, get out and go to the foyer doors. They are undercover police. Scene 8, interior, foyer, night. Through the glass, we see Hippie Cop 1 approach and knock on the doors. George and Virgil exchange a look. George sighs and opens the doors. George.
Look, they're not here. Piss off.
Hippie Cop 1 looks about suspiciously before flashing a badge at George. Hippie Cop 1, covertly. CID, let us in. Then loudly to the punters outside.
Right, man. Ha ha.
George.
All right. But what's going on? I'm security chief and nobody told me anything about this.
As the CID enter, we see through the glass doors that their admittance has been noticed by the other hippies, who then hurry over and begin bundling in behind them. Their arrival jostles the CID inside and makes it impossible for Hippie Cop 1 to respond to George. Hippie Cop 1.
Ah!
The CID are jostled into the ballroom and a couple of hippies slip in with them before George intervenes. George, to a hippie.
Hold it, sunshine. Where's your badge?
The hippie looks bewildered a moment, then shows George a colourful reflective brooch pinned to his jacket. Hippie.
Yeah, cosmic, innit? It changes colour with me aura.
George.
Well, unless you want it turning a lovely shade of black and blue, I suggest you op it.
He flings Hippie out. Hippie, to his friends.
Oi, assault! You saw that? He manhandled me. Call the pigs!
Scene 9, ballroom, interior, night. The ballroom is sparkling with brilliant teeth and glittering costumes. The air is filled with the tinkling of ice in martinis and the languid hum of lively conversation beneath a soundtrack of the Joe Loss Orchestra playing a polka. Max and Doreen are talking to a couple when Max sees the CID and 4 hippies among the crowd. His eyes widen. Max.
What the devil?
To the couple.
Do excuse me a moment.
He apprehends one of the hippies. Max.
How did you get in here?
Hippie.
Suit on the door let us in. It chilled out a bit now, he has.
He gestures to an unlit roll-up in his mouth.
Maybe he had a little medication, eh?
Max snatches the cigarette out of Hippie's mouth and looks crossly to the doors. Max.
Wait here. Don't touch anything.
Max strides to the foyer and exits. Scene 10, foyer, interior, night. Max enters. George and Virgil stop their conversation. Max.
What do you mean by letting that fly-blown rabble in here, George? I thought I'd made myself quite clear earlier when I...
George, interrupting.
They're CID, Mr. Price. Coppers. We reckon they're after this hippie band.
Max.
Oh, that's what they told you, is it? These policemen?
George.
Yeah, well, sort of. There was a bit of a scuffle, see, and, well, I'm not sure if they were all police, because some of them rushed in and...
Max.
You're not sure if they were all police? Tell me, George, have you ever seen the Bell?
George.
Yeah.
Max.
Well, those people in blue uniforms, rigid blue tits on their heads, cars with orange stripes and flashing blue lights, they are the police. And those dignified, strolling feet at the end of the show, well, all the foul, humming cack that they step in the course of an unfortunate day on the beat, that's what you just let in.
Virgil.
No, he's right, Mr. Price. They flashed us their ID. They're coppers, all right. Undercover, probably on Earth Vibe's mailing list.
Max.
Oh, yes, and they probably put their address down as New Scotland Yard, Did you actually get a good look at this ID, Virgil?
Virgil.
Well, it all happened so fast, Mr. Price.
Max.
No, I think is the word you're looking for, Virgil. They could have given you a quick glimpse of a Scotch egg with a smiley face painted on it, and you'd have given them the benefit of the doubt, wouldn't you? Now, I want you to stay here and make sure not a single hippie, policeman or otherwise, comes through those doors. Do you understand me?
George and Virgil.
Yes, Mr. Price.
Max.
I shall attend to the removal of Bodie and Doyle and their crusty sidekicks myself.
Max exits. Scene 11, Glitterballs, back alley gate, street side, exterior, night. The back alley connects to a side street and is used for refuse clearance and as an emergency fire escape. It's just a wooden gate in the wall about 6 feet high. Tom and Dave try to open it, but it's locked. Tom, rattling the gate. It's locked. Well, that's funny. Max always leaves it open when there's a gig on. Fire regulations. Dave. Maybe he forgot. What with all the excitement of shaking the mothballs out of his tux and all that. Let's just go over the wall. They see the wall is topped along its length by cemented broken beer bottles. They look defeated. Dave. Well, I guess we'll have to go round the front door then. Tom. They'll never let us in tonight, Dave. Dave. Yeah, they will. We'll just say we need to go to the office on urgent business. Tom. Yeah, but what about the dope? Pats his pocket. What if they search us? Dave. Stick it under your tongue. They'll never look there. Tom. Good idea. He takes a small lump of cellophane-wrapped substance from his pocket and pops it into his mouth. All right. Dave. Perfect. They begin to walk. Here, let's hope that stuff's not too strong, eh? Tonight's going to be tricky enough without having you floating round the ceiling. Tom, with tongue pinned. Scene 12. Foyer, interior, night. Tom and Dave step into view through the windows of the door. George opens the door and admits them. George. All right, boys. Didn't expect to see you here tonight. Dave. Nah, not really as seen, George, but we've had to drop by to attend to some urgent business. All right if we just pop up to the office? George. I don't see a problem with that. Have to search you, though. Mr. Price's orders. All right. Dave. Sure. He raises his arms. George. Tom? Tom. Yeah. Raises his arms. George and Virgil look concerned. Virgil. You all right, Tom? Tom. Yeah, toothache. George. Eh? Dave. Toothache. He's been to the dentist and had a tooth out. It's the Novocaine. George and Virgil frisk Tom and Dave. George. Oh, right. We don't want to drink then, Tom. You'll wind up dribbling it all down your shirt front. Dave. Ha, yeah, much like any other night, eh? All chuckle. George. OK, lads, you're clean. Hope you understand we're just doing our jobs. Dave. Of course. Can't be too careful with all these alternative lifestyle types running round, can you? Virgil. Alternative lifestyles, right? We had some bloke come in earlier with an haircut that looked like it had a family of small animals living in it. God knows what his mother must think of him. Dave. Maybe she's an hippie as well. Virgil. Who's talking about hippies? This bloke was one of old Max's lot. Dave. All right. Say no more, Virg. Say no more. Tom and Dave exit to ballroom. Scene 14. Ballroom, interior, night. There is a buzz of anticipation as dancers move onto the floor and spectators move to the edges. Max is moving stealthily through the crowd towards some hippies. Just as he nears them, Doreen catches him by the arm. Doreen. There you are. She steers him towards the floor. Come on, the music's about to start. Max. But Doreen. But nothing, darling. Forget everything other than where you're putting your feet. Chin up and think poise, elegance. Max does these things as she tells him. As they step onto the dance floor, they are a sparkling paragon of ballroom dance partnership. Behind them, through the crowd, we see Vaughan take the stage and step up to the microphone. Vaughan. Testing? He taps the mic. 1, 2, 1, 2. Ha ha! Ladies and gentlemen, friends, I'm delighted to welcome you all here tonight for the Cheering and District Ballroom Dance Championships. Before the dancing begins, I'd like you all to join me in a big cheering and district show of appreciation for our hosts tonight, Max and Doreen Price, without whom, as I think we're all aware, tonight would not have been possible. He extends his arm to Max and Doreen. Max and Doreen! Max and Doreen bask in the applause of the entire room. Cut to Tom and Dave at the outer rim of the crowd. Tom. It's going to be impossible to get across this floor to the dressing rooms without Max seeing us. We're going to have to go round the back alley. Dave nods his agreement, and they move through the crowd to the doors marked private. Scene 14, back gate, side street, exterior, night. Big Tony sidles casually up to the gate and after looking about, tries the handle. It is still locked. He waits. Scene 15, ballroom, interior, night. Vaughan is concluding his speech. Vaughan. And so, without any further ado, let the dancing commence. We begin with the cha-cha. Vaughan exits the stage as the music begins. Couples begin to cha-cha. Max takes Doreen in his arms. Max. Oh, Doreen, Doreen presses a finger to his lips. I know, my love. They come together dramatically. I feel it too. They begin to dance. Scene 16, kitchen, interior, night. Tom and Dave enter from downstairs central corridor and cross to the back door. Tom. OK, so one more time, the plan is, we go down the alley, check through the dressing room window to make sure it's empty. If it is, or as soon as it is, we go in through the back door and then into the dressing room. Once inside, we find something belonging to Vaughan, like a bag or a jacket or whatever, and stash the dope in it. Then we come out and tell Max we've seen him having a puff out back. Max doesn't believe us, so we all search the dressing room, find the gear, Max goes bonkers and chucks Vaughan out. And then it's business as usual. Dave. Yeah, got it. But I'm still concerned, you know. It's a bit extreme, Tom. I mean, what if Max calls the law? Tom. He won't. Think of the scandal factor. Think of what would happen if the local papers got hold of it. The council. Trust me, no one's going to get hurt, no one's going to get arrested, and no one is going to come between us and our music venue anymore. All right? Dave. Thumbs up. All right, Tom. Let's do it. They exit via back door. Scene 17. Dressing room, interior, night. We fade up on Vaughan, sitting on a chair in the dressing room, smoking a cigarette with his back to the window. He looks at his watch, then, behind him, through the window, we see Tom and Dave's heads rise cautiously into view. They react when they see Vaughan, but relax when they realise he cannot see them. Suddenly, Vaughan rises, looks at his watch, and exits the dressing room. Scene 18. Back alley, exterior, night. Tom and Dave duck down from the window and whisper urgently to one another. Dave. Where's he going? Tom. I don't know. Maybe he's... FX. The sound of a crash bar going down and the creak of the back door to the dressing room area. Tom. Shit, he's coming outside. Quick. He indicates dustbins. Behind these. With the camera on Tom and Dave as they hide behind the bins and listen, we can see over the tops of the bins Vaughan enter the alley and go to the back gate. He whispers loudly, Vaughan. Tony? Big Tony, out of view. Yeah. Tom and Dave react. Vaughan slides the bolt on the gate and Big Tony enters the alley, closing the gate behind him. Vaughan. All right. Any problems? Big Tony. Nah, as it happens, I was coming down here anyway. Some wanker who works here's after some puff. Little bastard's been messing around on my poster manor, ain't he? So I sold him a prize lump of dried cat shit. Big Tony and Vaughan laugh. Tom reacts with horror to what he has had in his mouth. Big Tony. I'd like to be there when he sparks that up. Vaughan. Come on inside. Vaughan and Big Tony exit shot. FX, sound of back door closing. Tom begins spitting and gagging. He pulls the lump of dope, inverted commas, from his pocket and throws it away disgustedly. Tom, whispering, Cat shit! That dirty bastard! That dirty, fat, cheating bastard! I knew I wasn't sucking on something quite right. I've heard a skunk, but, Jesus! Dave is already up and peering through the window. Dave. Shh! Forget that, will you? Look at this! Tom joins Dave and looks in through the window. Scene 19. Dressing room, interior, night. Vaughan and Big Tony are standing at the table with their backs to the window, through which we can see Tom and Dave. Vaughan picks up an attaché case and opens it on the table. Inside are various bulging bags of white powder. Tom and Dave react. Vaughan. Something for the weekend, sir? Vaughan and Big Tony laugh. Scene 20, back alley, exterior, night. Tom and Dave duck. Tom. Shit, there's more snow in that case than there is on Emma Forbes' head and shoulders. Of course, now that joke falls completely flat because it refers to a series of 1990s dandruff shampoo commercials. An actress called Emma Forbes used to advertise this dandruff shampoo called Head and Shoulders. So, yeah, so much for that joke. Anyway, Dave. He's a dealer, a real one, a genuine small-town gangster. Well, it looks like we don't have to worry about planting anything on him after all. Tom. Well, no, it would seem to be superfluous to requirements, wouldn't it? Dave. So what do? Tom. We stick to plan A, don't we? We go and tell Max. Dave. Right. They run out of shot. Scene 21, ballroom, interior, night. On the dance floor, Max and Doreen are dancing happily amongst the other contestants. Mr. Crimble, an elderly man in full ballroom attire, is directed by a table of judges to tap a couple out on the floor. Mr. Crimble taps the shoulder of the male partner. The couple look disappointed, but leave the floor with Mr. Crimble. Cut to the private access doors. Tom and Dave enter. They look frantically about before spotting Max and Doreen out on the floor. Tom. Bugger! How can we get to him out there? If we just run over and start tugging at his sleeve, he'll probably belt us one. Dave. Well, what else can we do? Stick a message in a bottle and chuck it at him? Tom. On any other night, that might be a tempting option, Dave, but sadly not tonight. The couple rejected by Mr. Crimble now come and stand in front of Tom and Dave. Tom looks at them, and an idea dawns in his expression. He whispers in Dave's ear. Dave looks at the couple, then back to the private doors. He looks less than keen, but Tom is insistent. Dave goes and exits via the private doors. Tom smiles. Scene 22, kitchen, interior, night. Dave enters the kitchen and removes a frying pan from a clutter of pots and pans. He tests its heft as a weapon, then exits. Scene 23, ballroom, interior, night. Tom approaches the couple and addresses them. We cannot hear what is being said, but the couple look initially concerned, then grateful. They follow Tom as he leads them to exit via private doors. The camera stays on the doors as they close. The background music ends with the final 2 beats being complemented by the double striking of a frying pan on heads. FX, frying pan, impacting twice. Scene 24, ballroom, dance floor, interior, night. As the dance comes to an end, the audience and the remaining contestants applaud. Max and Doreen beam, clearly having a marvellous time. Mr. Crimble takes the microphone. Mr. Crimble. And now, ladies and gentlemen, take your partners for the tango. Max and Doreen exchange a passionate look. The music begins. At this point, we cut to private doors where Tom and Dave make a dramatic entrance with the music. Tom is wearing the woman's clothes and looking unsure, while a smiling Dave looks dashing in the man's tux. Tom. Maybe this isn't such a good idea. Dave. It was a good idea until you lost the toss, wasn't it? What on earth could have changed your mind? Tom. Well, let's begin with the stilettos and work our way up, shall we? He adjusts his underpants. Dave. Oh, sexy lady. The way you pull your pants out of your crack really sets my soul on fire. Tom. Yeah, all right. Come on then, let's get on with it. Dave leads Tom through the crowd and onto the floor where they begin to dance, badly, over to Max and Doreen. Note, Tom and Dave's dancing difficulty should be amusing, a result of high heels, inability and urgency to get Max's undivided attention. Tom and Dave sweep up to Max and Doreen. Tom, through a frozen smile. Max! Max and Doreen see them and react, though not breaking their stride too much. Both couples are intent on seeming like they don't know one another. Max. Oh, dear God! The dialogue between the two couples takes place as they dance past each other, all big smiles and, on Tom and Dave's part, bad dancing. Tom. Max, there's something I've got to tell you. Max, looking at dress. Evidently, but did you have to be so dramatic about it? Tom. You don't understand. Something terrible is happening under your roof. Max. I can see that. And if you don't get off the floor immediately, something terrible will soon be happening to you. Tom. I'm serious, Max. It's that Vaughan bloke. He's a cocaine dealer. Max. You little bastard. You really are plumbing the depths this time. How could you be so? Dave. It's true, Max. He's got enough Bolivian marching powder to march a lot of Bolivians a very long way. Tom. Yeah, like around the world and back. Mr. Krimble taps Dave gently on the shoulder. Max. Get off the floor. Tom. No, not unless you come with me. Mr. Krimble taps Dave again. Would you leave the floor, please, sir? Tom to Mr. Krimble. I'm afraid we can't. Max. Get off! Tom. Not without you. Mr. Krimble, tapping insistently. Please, sir. Max. Go! Dave. I'm quite enjoying myself, actually. Tom. Yes, so am I. Perhaps we should take this up as a hobby, Dave. Max breaks with Doreen and assumes an aggressive posture towards Tom. Right, you've asked for this and now you're going to get it. Dave. Are you cutting in? Tom turns and runs in the direction of the backstage entrance to the dressing rooms, with Max raging in pursuit. Dancers and onlookers scatter before them. Dave takes a bewildered-looking Doreen into his arms and readies her for dancing. Dave. May I have the pleasure? Scene 25. Backstage corridor, interior, night. Tom runs into the corridor with Max raging after him. They crash into the dressing room and out of shot. Scene 26. Dressing room, interior, night. Tom crashes through the door with Max's hands around his throat. Beyond them, at the table, Vaughan and Big Tony look up. Big Tony is in the process of snorting a big line of cocaine from a mirror. He has a banknote sticking out of his nose, while Vaughan is tending a small set of scales. Max. What the devil's going on here? He lets go of Tom's throat. Tom falls to the floor with a cry of discomfort. Vaughan. Max, if you know what's good for you, you'll just turn around and forget all about this. I believe you'll find the tango is calling. Big Tony to Tom. Don't you have some smoke in to do? Tom. Oh, that's a laugh, you fat bastard. I've heard it called shit before, but you really do take it literally, don't you? Big Tony. Why, you little... Max. You fiendish! The above lines are spoken simultaneously as Max and Tom square up to Big Tony and Vaughan. Suddenly, the four hippie cops burst in behind them. Guns drawn. Hippie Cop 1. All right, police. Nobody move, you're all under arrest. You two, indicates Max and Tom. Over there, by the wall. Hands up, all of you. Right, so this is the backstage party, is it? Now, where's Earth Vibe? Max. What? Hippie Cop 1. Don't come the innocent with me, sunshine. Earth Vibe. We know they're here, we're on the mailing list. Max. I don't believe it. Tom. Cancelled, I'm afraid. Management decision. Hippie Cop 1. Oh, what? No way. Tom. Yes way. And also we could play host to the Cheering and District Cocaine Committee's annual Nose Up. Hippie Cop 1. Well, that all sounds fascinating. You can tell us all about it down the station. Max. The station? What, you can't arrest me? I'm the manager. Hippie Cop 1. We'll sort out who's who later on. Right now you're all nicked for drug trafficking, and I must inform you that anything you say will be taken down and used against you in a court of law. Tom. I don't suppose there's any chance of me getting changed, is there? I feel sort of inappropriately dressed for the local nick. Hippie Cop 1. Oh, I dunno. I think a good-looking bird like you will go down pretty well in this cells, mate. Hippie Cop 2. Yeah, nice legs too. Close up on Tom's look of dawning horror as the music from the ballroom comes to a dramatic end. Fade. Scene 27, ballroom, bar, interior, night. It is the next evening. The venue is bustling with the usual youthful clientele. Tom is at the bar, talking to Dave, Reg and Pete. Sally is listening from the other side of the bar, while Gary can be seen serving punters. Tom. So once they figured out who the real villains were, we were all right. I was home by about midnight. The hero of the hour. Pete. What about Max?
Tom. Oh, he's all right. In fact, we've come to a new understanding. It's funny the things that can pass between two men when they're alone together in a police cell for a few hours. Dave. Yeah, especially when one of those men is Max and the other one's wearing a dress. Tom. As I was saying, we've come to a new understanding. Everything is back to normal. I've got bands on Tuesdays through to Saturdays, and Max gets to entertain his newly inherited ballroom crowd on Sundays and Mondays. Sally. But where is Max? I haven't seen him all night. Tom. No, well, poor old Max had to stay a bit longer since he assaulted 2 policemen when we got to the station. Dave. Max did? What happened? Tom. Well, in the Black Maria on the way down, Vaughan kept telling Max how they'd strip search us when we got to the station. He filled his head with stories of rubber gloves and uncompromising positions. Dave. So what did Max do? Tom. Well, when the coppers opened the doors to let us out, Max rushed at them. The 2 doors flew out, struck the coppers, giving one a shiner and the other one a mild concussion. Pete. A desperate attempt to escape? Tom. That's what they reckon, but to me it looked like over-enthusiasm. Sally. Hello, talk of the devil. They look in the direction Sally indicates. Max and Doreen approach the bar, arm in arm, and join them. Max is dressed as last night. Max. Evening, everybody. All ad-lib hellos. Max, to Tom and Dave. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you fellows properly for what you did. It was brave of you, and, well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Tom and Dave ad-lib polite responses, a little embarrassed. Max. Business as usual tonight, I see. Tom. Yeah, it's, beep tonight. Real guest band inserted here. Max. Excellent. Well, we'll leave you to it. To Doreen. Shall we, dear? Doreen. Yes, I'm sure that'll be for the best. Max and Doreen exit. Dave. Blimey, either somebody slipped something illegal and expensive into my drink and I'm hallucinating, or Max was just civil to us. Pete. Yeah, maybe this is the dawning of a new era. Tom. Somehow I doubt that. Reggie. Here, talking of illegal and expensive substances, if anybody fancies popping out for a smoke later, I bought some wicked stuff off Big Tony before he got nicked last night. Very exotic smelling it is. Tom and Dave look at one another. Behind we see, beep, walk on stage. Tom and Dave. Not tonight, thanks, Reg. The band begin to play. We cut to them and intercut with usual sights of venue activity. The last note of the song ends as we cut to scene 28. Scene 28, Max and Doreen's front room, interior, night. Close up on a stylus, automatically lowering onto a revolving record. As the first notes of Engelbert Humperdinck's Les Bicyclettes d'Albersailles begin to play, we cut to Max and Doreen in the lowered light of their front room. They are dancing slowly, looking into one another's eyes with great love and affection. Scene 29. Tom's office, interior, night. Tom and Dave are counting money. We can hear Engelbert mutedly coming in through the open door. Tom and Dave smile knowingly. Tom slips a wad of notes into an envelope and gets up. Tom. I think I better nip over and give Max his money now. I get the feeling he won't want to be disturbed before too long. Scene 30, upstairs corridor, interior, night. Tom enters the corridor from his office and walks towards the camera, which is just past Max and Doreen's door. The music filters in from the door as Tom raises his hand to knock, then pauses, smiles, and slips the envelope beneath the door. He walks out of shot past the camera. Scene 31, Max and Doreen's front room, interior, night. Max and Doreen dance slowly in the dim light. The end credits roll over this scene. The usual theme replaced by Engelbert. As the credits end, Max suddenly gives a violent howl of pain. He stumbles and bumps into the record player. FX, stylus scratching record. The music cuts out. Doreen. What is it, Max? Max. My bunion! Christ, you stepped on my bunion! Doreen. Oh, Max, I'm sorry, I didn't see your feet. Max. That's because you dimmed all the bloody lights, you idiot. Doreen. What? Which one of your feet's got the bunion again? Max. The left! The left! Doreen stamps on Max's left foot. He screams.
The music you're listening to is called The Show Must Be Go by Kevin MacLeod. For more information, visit incomptech.com. And so there it was, ladies and gentlemen, the end of Glitterballs Season 1. And unfortunately the only season I ever wrote because, as we all know, the show was never made and never will be. Because we are now, A, no longer in the 90s, B, TV comedy has evolved quite a bit since this era, and C, even if it hadn't, it would still be a ridiculously expensive show to make. Of course, when I was writing it, I didn't think about things like costs, set construction and all that sort of thing. I just thought we could find a suitable real venue, like a large pub function room, and shoot it there. That way you'd only need a couple of office sets, you know, Max and Doreen's office and Tom and Dave's little cubbyhole office, Max and Doreen's living room. But then, of course, you know, there's also the area outside, the foyer, the dressing room, the alley round the back, the place in town where the fly posting incident took place, and then in other episodes you're going to need, you know, the hotel sets for episode 5, the kitchen sets for episode 2, and so on and so on and so on. So, you know, as Channel 4 said to me at the time, this would be very, very, very expensive to make, and even more so, I would imagine now. But never mind. It was fun for me to write and to revisit in this podcast after, 20-odd years. And I hope that it's also been fun for you to listen to. Thank you for listening to it. But for me for now, it's time to go. I'm going to pop back into Glitterballs for a last pint and to catch the encore from Sheep on Drugs or The Wedding Present or Blur or whoever, you know, someone like that. The kind of bands who would have been on the show if I'd had my way. I'd love to play out here on the podcast now to a live version of a song from one of those bands, but of course, you know, copyright reasons and all that, I'm afraid I cannot. So I'll just have to go. Oh well. Thanks for listening. Pip pip and cheerio.
Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and maybe subscribe too. Why leave it to chance that we may meet again in this heaving, jostling crush of videos, all vying for your attention? Click subscribe and get notified whenever I post new content. Thank you.